Jesus, 352060.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the application for Jonathan De Jesus, 352060. He is serving a total effective sentence of 20 years jail, execution suspended after 8 years jail, followed by 5 years probation for manslaughter first. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility of April 14, 2024. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender probability plan that has been reviewed and shows that the offender has completed voices. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score on the RP falls within the low range of risk for recidivism. Mr. De Jesus, this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may.
What was that? Sorry.
You may begin. You may start to express why you believe you should be granted parole.
I really don't have a big story. I would like to say that I've grown a lot since, my incarceration. I've learned a lot. I ended up finding a lot of support, within friends and family, that has been trying to help me. And has been there for me, to help me through the process. Because, I've been away for quite some time. I've also, I've lost a lot of family members also, and I've realized that I'm getting older, and a lot of things can't be the same. I can't keep coming back and forth to jail and stuff like that. And, with a lot of the goals that I have set for me now, I feel like can, really show the kind of person that I've become or still would like to become in the future. Like one of my goals is to become a recovery coach, to help others that deal with addictions and stuff like that. That seems to be a reason why I lost a lot of family members, and I have a lot of family that are actually addicts. And I feel like with me turning to that career, that maybe I can help them or help others also, and that could be like a way of me giving back, so it's regardless, that's kind of something that I wanted to push towards once I get out, and I feel like they can always use somebody that can share experiences and speak to people that need somebody, that don't have somebody, to help them or care for them in that way. I don't really have a lot of reasons on why you should let me out other than you have faith in me to think that maybe I can change or deserve a chance, Right now, I feel like that's in your hands. I would appreciate it though, the thought that I would go home and be able to succeed or do good enough, to maintain outside, especially with how hard times are now. I know I made a lot of mistakes. I just haven't had guidance or anything like that, I feel, and I spent a lot of my younger years in jail, and now I'm soon to be 37 in a week or two, I'm tired of it, and I regret a lot of it, and I want you to know that I will try and find the perfect way, if there is a perfect way to be. I would like to apologize to the family of the victim in this case, because I know it hurts to lose someone, but it must hurt on another level to have someone taken from them from stupidity or an act like this in this case. I'm sorry, I'm jumpy and I'm like nervous. That's
okay.
There's no real way to apologize or express sympathy in a matter like this, because I I can imagine how it is to have a son or anyone taken. I truly, truly, truly do regret this. I have sought help since I've been down, like and incarcerated. I was getting a lot of help in Cheshire from the pastor. You know, he would speak with me a lot, and to talk to me, for me to basically understand the difference between losing someone and having someone taken. And you know, I've never been a violent person, you know, so it's this case has, you know, bothered a lot. Like it's been a while since I was able to sleep or anything like that. Just the thought of it, you know, because I've felt so bad and, you know, regretted it. But for the most part, those are just the things that I'm really focusing on. I've really been trying to find a way to be able to apologize or go about the right way to at least try and give back and apologize towards the
Mr. DeJesus, you've done a lot of apologizing already. Can you, and I don't want to stop your statement, but can you focus in on those things that you think you've done that will give us a reason why we should consider your discretionary parole today? Things, accomplishments that you've made since you've been in?
Other than programs like on Voices, I've completed Voices in Cheshire. I was told that was one of the first steps that I should have taken. So I finished that when I was in Cheshire.
I mean, we can start with some questioning if you want, and then maybe that'll help spark some more information.
Sorry,
Would that be helpful?
Yeah. Yes,
okay. Why don't we do that? So that's what we're going to do now. The panel's going to ask you some questions, and when we're done, we're going to discuss your case and let you know what our answer is. Okay?
Yes.
And I'm going to start out with panel member Turner.
Morning, sir. Good afternoon. So, when did you know you had a hearing?
Excuse me?
When did you know about today's hearing?
A week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, I believe.
Okay.
I could be off.
Did you give any thought to preparing a statement?
I was putting my mind to it. I was thinking about stuff, but it's by myself in here. I kind of mentally is hard for me to like write and things like that alone.
Okay, I'm only asking because you know, it was meandering. You seemed unprepared. The fact that the only program you've completed is Voices, and you didn't begin your opening statement with an apology for taking the life of another person was, you know, you kind of stumbled into your apology after talking for quite some time. So it just surprised me that you weren't better prepared for this. But we can proceed from there. So I want to make sure you understand, Mr. DeJesus, you aren't eligible until the middle of July for discretionary parole release. And your end of sentence appears to be August of 2025. So we have to make a decision today about whether it's appropriate for you to finish the 8 years you have to serve out in the community, and we have to do that in light of the interests of public safety. So you realize you have 12 years of this sentence hanging over your head when you go out to the 5 years of probation?
Yes.
Okay, so you violate the probation and you could be made to serve that 12 years. It's just held in suspension.
Yes.
Okay. So, you know, I would agree with you. Your criminal history doesn't show that you are a violent person, but this incident was incredibly concerning, what you and your co-defendants did, because you laid in wait for this opportunity to attack these people in their car. You were on probation at the time, sir?
Excuse me? Yes, I
You
was
were
on
on
probation.
probation at the time?
Yes.
Okay. And you've been given 5 opportunities out in the community on supervision, and you've been unsuccessful 3 times. This is your 3rd period of incarceration, correct?
Yes, and I've
Uh-huh.
also
And-
always completed parole.
You've
Without
accumulated 9 disciplinary tickets. Why didn't you think it was important to take tier 4?
I was trying to start a process to become a recovery coach. I was trying to get insight and so I can understand and just see if maybe I had addict
Okay,
issues
but the
and stuff.
recovery
And
coach is not on your OAP.
I
Addiction
know that was for
services
myself.
put you in tier 4. Why
No,
didn't you think it was important to finish tier 4?
They didn't put me in there. I asked to sign up for that.
It was on your OAP to have the evaluation, and with the drug score
Because-
4, they put you
because
in
I
OAP
asked.
in tier 4. But why didn't you think it was important to complete it?
I made a mistake and got kicked out. I didn't not want to complete it.
Okay, but you've continued to make that same mistake since being removed from the program. Why are you in prison smoking marijuana?
I shouldn't be. There's no
No.
answer for that.
You shouldn't. Yep. Have you ever asked to get in tier 2?
Yes, twice.
And what are they saying to you?
I got we'll respond to you when there's room, and then on one request there was no response. And this was
So
right after tier 4.
aside from smoking pot in prison, how else are you spending your time?
Spending my time. Well, right now I've just been building my relationship with my son and exercising and just trying to stay out of trouble. I try to stay to myself. I haven't been
Well,
trying
you
to get in
said
trouble or
in your
anything.
opening statement, you've learned a lot. What have you done to educate yourself?
I read. I mean, I do a lot of reading. I got a lot of books.
You don't have
my
your
fiance
GED
sent
though,
me
right?
books. No, I don't. I was in the learning center my whole life. I suffer from, like, I have issues when it comes to learning and understanding and comprehending at the moment. So it's like my whole life I've always had to sit down and like
Extra, yeah, you need support, which is why it would be perfect for you to be working on your GED there in the facility.
There's no way I would have the help I need here educationally. There's literally 2 teachers here. One
Have you
work
tried
here.
in either of your prior times in prison?
Excuse me?
Have you been enrolled in school in the 2 prior times you've been in prison?
Yes, I have.
Did you
Yes, I've
make any progress
enrolled
on?
twice.
Did you make any progress on getting a GED?
The first time I didn't have enough time. And even now, if I was to sign up now, the teacher, she said it would take me almost 3 years to get my GED here alone. They don't have the
You gotta
teachers
start
and the help I
sometime.
need.
You gotta start sometime, Mr. DeJesus. Why not start now? You're not
Because they don't have
eligible
the
until
help I
July.
need. The help I need, they don't have. I don't learn like everyone else, Miss. I suffer.
I can appreciate that, but I don't believe that they wouldn't be able to work with you. And then you said you didn't finish the first time, but then you could have gone out into the community and continued that work, and you didn't.
Yeah, because when I went home, I had to go right to work. When I went home, I had 2 jobs. When I got in trouble and caught and violated probation and came back to jail, I was working 2 jobs at the time.
Okay, well, you were working at Taylor Rentals in 2015 and 2016. What was your other job?
I was a mechanic at a garage.
You have a
Stratford
license?
Ave in Bridgeport.
Do you have a
No,
mechanic's license?
No,
So you were at Taylor Rentals 9 years ago, and you think you're going to go back there?
they're waiting. Yes, they would love me back. They would love me back. I'm actually in touch still with the boss, with the manager, Kimberly. She still writes me, and she talks to my family, and she's actually waiting for me.
So as
They
a
got a spy
CPAP
orange.
recovery coach, when you finish that program, what are you going to tell people you're helping about your own use of marijuana? Are you going to stop at some point?
I don't feel I need it anymore. It went from recreational to I don't need that to move forward. It's not something that I'm gonna be seeking when I go home or anything like that.
Okay, but when's the last time you used in prison?
Almost a month ago.
And why did you use then?
I was celebrating New Year's.
Do you think you have an addiction, sir?
I guess yes. I mean, I don't feel I do, but because of history for me using, I would say yes. I would tell someone yes.
Well, we got there. So what's your plan for living clean and sober when you're back in the community?
Well, with the classes I'll be taking to get certified from CCAR, being a recovery coach, that's gonna help a long way. And with that, I feel my own coach, through training from that. So I mean, I'm pretty sure it'd be a right way to
Okay, and
help or get my own advice.
you've never done treatment in the community before, right?
No.
Have you ever done NA meetings, AA meetings?
Yes. Lots of times.
What, do you find that helpful?
Yes, it helps. Yes, I believe so. It's helped me once or twice. Yes.
The longest you've been clean?
Huh?
What's the longest clean time you've ever had? Because oftentimes people in your position will tell us it's right now while I'm here in prison, but that's not the case for you. So what's your longest clean time?
I've gone a year without smoking weed or drinking at all or anything. I've gone time without it. I don't
So
do it like I
take me
need
back
it.
to that year. Why did you decide not to use?
My fiance was pregnant. She had the baby, so I didn't feel the need, I didn't want it around. I didn't want cigarettes. I didn't want marijuana, drinking, nothing. So we was just trying to really do the right thing as parents.
Do you think
So we
that your
just took a break.
marijuana use has caused you any problems?
No, I wouldn't say so, no.
Okay,
In the
I'm going to
world?
try really hard, Mr. DeJesus, not to laugh at that answer. How many DRs have you gotten?
Oh, in jail, I was referring to in the world. I didn't know if I thought we was,
It was a global question.
all right, then I think it caused me trouble then, yes.
I respect that you want to help others, but you need to get your own house in order, sir. Do you know what that means? Do you know what I'm
Yes.
talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. So you had a year clean time. Why do you think you use? Outside of prison, when you're in the community, why do you use?
Recreational.
So you smoke for fun. And this was before it became legal, because it's been legal since it's been legalized since you've been incarcerated.
Yes, I heard.
Mhm.
No, I would do it for
Not in
parties and
prison, but in the community.
birthdays.
Mhm.
Yeah, birthdays.
So you
know,
celebrate
New
with pot.
Year's. Yes, like liquor. People celebrate with liquor. That's how I would. I'm not a big drinker. I'm not. I don't. I've never done heroin. I've never done cocaine. I've never done any of that for celebration. So my go-to would be I would smoke weed lightly.
So when you're out, besides being on probation again, what's going to keep you from recreating with a lot? Will you? Do you intend
Yes,
to?
I don't. Yes, I do intend to. I intend to help others. I intend to help others and be there for others that don't have people there for them. People there to give them advice and people there just to spend time with them if they need it from them using.
So with the time, you have remaining there in the facility, I would really encourage you to ask about a fatherhood or a parenting program, because you've been out of your son's life for a tremendous amount of time, and you've got to, really reconnect in a way that he can trust that you're going to be there for him. And he's going to have a lot of feelings to process about you being away. So taking a parenting program will help you prepare to be able to handle his feelings, take responsibility for the way he feels, and make amends. So talk to the counselor there about a parenting or a fatherhood program.
Okay, I will.
I have no more questions,
Thank you,
Mr. Chair.
Paul, no questions. Just a couple of just clarifying things for me. So when you were interviewed, you said you had no drug problem, right?
Yes.
That included your smoking marijuana. It wasn't a problem. I want to be clear.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now you do see it as a problem.
Now I what?
And now you do see it as a problem, correct? Is that correct?
Yes, because I want to help others. I want to talk to them to not use.
Wait a
And
minute, but
me using is.
did I hear you wrong? Did you just share with my colleague that you were going to recreationally use marijuana when you got out because it's legal?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't say that. No,
You didn't say that? That's what I thought I heard say. I'm sorry. I misunderstood you. That's what I thought I heard you say. You're not going to use it, and instead you're going to try to counsel other young people not to do drugs.
yes.
All right. The federal charges, what was up with those federal charges?
My family was doing bad. We was working and it wasn't enough, the bills. And my brother, he passed away. And when we was cleaning out his room, he left a firearm in his bedroom. And to help pay the bills, I sold the firearm and I got in trouble for it.
And that's how you
trying.
got charged and you did time for that?
Yes.
How much time did you do?
I did 27 months for that. And then when I discharged, the state, my probation violated me and they made me do a year on top of that. So I kind of did federal time and state time for that.
I guess they didn't go with the story that it was your brother's gun.
It didn't matter. It was still violation of probation, I guess, felon in possession of a firearm. So since I already had a felony, I was in the possession of it, regardless if it was my brother's gun or not.
Oh, and then you became an
It was
unlicensed
good
firearm dealer.
I would say good intentions, bad choices.
Thank you. Okay, I don't have any other questions. Panelmember Turner? Thank you for answering my question.
So that it was a fascinating conversation with Mr. De Jesus. I appreciated his honesty with respect to, the DRs and his drug use. It's disappointing that with this much time incarcerated, he hasn't completed more programs, and in fact, sabotaged himself around tier 4. He clearly, I guess, wasn't ready for it. And up to a month ago, may still not be ready for it. So between the offense being committed on probation, the 9 DRs, and his inadequate program completion, it's a deny for me.
Mr. I also concur.
So my reasons would be nature and circumstance, offense on probation, poor institutional adjustment, inadequate program participation, and evidence of offender change.
So that's the nature of the circumstance of offense, poor performance while on probation and community release, that you said?
Offense on probation, not poor
Oh,
performance.
offense, current offense.
Inadequate program participation and evidence of offender change, and poor institutional adjustment.
Institutional adjustment. Okay. All right, reader, correct me, please. In the case of Jonathan De Jesus, inmate number 352-060, there's a motion to deny discretionary parole for the following reasons: nature and circumstances of the current offense committed while on probation, and or parole community release, inadequate evidence of offender change, inadequate institutional program participation, and poor institutional adjustment. Do I have a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, Mr. De Jesus, I'm sorry, but today you have not been given the discretionary parole. We would probably recommend that you get some additional programming.
This hearing was so ridiculous and so just laughable, which I really enjoyed the way that Nancy Turner, and we'll go over who she is during this unpacking, handled this hearing, that I basically forgot why he was even locked up to begin with. And we forget that he took a man's life. And he took a man's life. Him and 4 other people were implicated on this. They threw a rock through a man's car window while it was driving because that man, quote, disrespected them. And he's not a child when he does this. He was 29 at the time. And it's just, I don't need to explain it. We saw the hearing. We saw who he is. His own parole hearing, he comes in unprepared, completely unprepared. And I've been watching many of these hearings, and the parole board called him out on it. Most do show up with at least something written down. And he shows up and he just is mumbling. Finally, he gets to how he's sorry about. And can you imagine being locked up and not actually feeling bad that you took a man's life? Or it's not the first thing that you say. And they say, well, why didn't you plan anything? Oh, I don't know. I'm in here by myself. And it's like, dude, the one thing that you have more than any of us is time. All you have is time. And the idea that you cannot invest the time in your own freedom, that's enough. That's just enough said there. It is so despicable and just disgusting. And then on top of it, they give him just an 8-year sentence. I know it was a 20-year sentence, but it's all suspended except for the 8. And some might say, well, he threw the rock through a windshield. It's different. And, he took a plea deal. It wasn't like he used a weapon. Well, it is a weapon, but I don't know. Let's find out the details of it before we comment more. So, and thank you, Richard, for dropping this info. So they arrested a 4th suspect, Bridgeport, man hit by brick. The 4 suspect wanted in connection with the homicide or the death of the 41-year-old Bridgeport man was struck by a brick in July has been arrested. Jonathan De Jesus, 29, surrendered to Bridgeport police Monday and was charged with first-degree manslaughter. So that was the charge, first degree. The 3 other suspects listed here are also facing first-degree manslaughter charges. Each had a bond of $250K. Martinez, Vargas, and Fasecta admitted throwing objects to the 1999 Jeep Cherokee in July 16th because they said the occupants had disrespected them. However, they said they did not throw the brick that killed the 41-year-old, the Post said. Morales was a passenger in the Jeep Cherokee, which was on Jane Street, when several people threw rocks, a brick, and a metal pipe at the vehicle. This is not, this is not like a bunch of people are just like throwing a brick and oops, what happened? As you can see here, they were throwing stuff with the intent of killing him. This is not. Which was on Jane. The several people threw rocks or breaking a metal pipe at the vehicle. Morales was struck in the side of the head by a brick and later died of his injuries. The 4 suspects were quickly identified and arrested and were prepared and submitted to the state's attorney office for review. All 4 arrest warrants for the back state attorneys. The arrests represent solid police work in the investigation. Perez praised the Detective Bureau for their service. Of course they did. I think the detectives work so hard to lock these people up, and then they get these little sentences. And he had a low risk score. Are we surprised? He has all of these failed supervisions. He's basically a joke. He has write-ups in prison. He does illegal substances less than a month before his hearing, and he gets a low risk score. How can you make this stuff up, right? The brilliant PhDs with their algorithms, probably straight out of Harvard. So that these arrests have been some comfort. The Morales family, they're responsible. Okay. And then we fast forward here. It says that he took the plea deal. He pled guilty to manslaughter. And the judge will impose an 8-year prison sentence. And, I guess this was a difficult one. If they went to trial, how would they prove who threw the rock and what would they? So, but I wouldn't be surprised if he would have gotten a sentence like that anyways. But it's going to take more time to see more of these hearings to understand really how they handle the homicide cases in Connecticut. But it was outside of that, and the fact that he seemed to show absolutely no remorse and had a terrible hearing, it was I thought funny. I think the parole board thought it was funny too. He really couldn't help himself but to stop just lying. Really just an habitual liar. And of course the classic, but I want to help people. I just want to get out and be a coach and help people. It's like, okay, yep, sure you do. So let's go over who the board members are, because I rather enjoyed them. I thought that they were quite, it was assigned to Nancy Turner, and I thought she handled this quite brilliantly. So let's see. Nancy Turner is a full-time board member. Miss Turner was appointed by the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles as a full-time member in 2017, so she's been here quite a while. Prior to joining the board, she coordinated a statewide effort to address the needs of substance-exposed infants and their families at Advanced Behavioral Health, Inc., and served as Director of Offender Risk Reduction, the Connecticut Coalition Against DV, where she also chaired as a Connecticut DV Violent Facility Review Committee. Previously, Ms. Turner worked in Washington, D.C. for the International Association of Chiefs of Police as a senior program manager. Oh, she's into her programs. During her 14 years with IACP, she managed a series of federal grants to set standards and policy guide police response and investigation of various crimes, including homicides, stalking, human trafficking, sexual assault, and gun violence. I mean, she's got an impressive track record, I would say. Definitely better than Mr. Kelsey being a physical therapist. Ms. Turner developed and delivered leadership training programs for major city-state rural campus enforcement executives. Ms. Turner taught on the faculty of George Washington University from 1990 to 2005 and previously lobbied Congress for National Coalition Against DV. She earned a bachelor's degree and a master's from George. And let's see, we also, so I mean, that's impressive. I enjoyed her candor and her interview style. Mike Holt. Let's see, Mike. So I thought it was Mike that showed up, that he said his name was Mike, but I do not. Maybe it's Michael. Ah, yes. So we also had Michael at the hearing, who was, I think, the older sounding gentleman. So he was appointed to the Pardon Parole's full-time member in 2019. Prior to that, he was as a certified teacher, he taught 8th grade, United States history. I mean, that's definitely, he was an 8th grade teacher. History teacher in middle school from 2009 to 2019. He earned his degree at Manchester Community College. I mean, that's just that is surprising to me. That's imagine. Okay, it's surprising. Okay, so Mr. Parole was appointed in 1986 to the Connecticut Alcohol and Drug Commission by Governor Williams O'Neill due to his experience and knowledge in the prevention and treatment of alcohol. While the CADC Commission, Mr. Parole interacted with many community-based treatment programs, as well as many Connecticut Department of Correction Addiction Services. Okay, so this is where his experience really comes into play. He's the executive director of Pathfinder Association in Manchester, where he began his own personal recovery. So he is. This is our recovery. This is our Mr. Marabella, or Keith Jones guy. Addiction 1984. For the past 35 years, Mr. Parole has worked with many people seeking recovery, in most recent years with people recovering from opioid addiction. Mr. Parole is also the Justice of Peace for 25 years. So he's also very experienced, and it's got to be as patient as a saint to have been teaching history middle school. And I guess now you can see that with the way that he answered or he asked the question about the addiction, being addicted to marijuana. And then Rodriguez. Sergio Rodriguez. That was a he. Mr. Rodriguez was appointed by the Connecticut Board of Pardon and Paroles in May 2023, so he's relatively new. And he was previously employed with New Haven Board of Education, a restorative coach. He is passionate about his work with some Connecticut's most vulnerable children and families. I do like that two of them are like really seem to be like pro, victim and children, right? Having a lot of experience doing that. So it's going to be interesting to see how they all handle these cases. He brings over 40 years of experience of substance abuse treatment, general social services, criminal justice, and re-entry employment services to his appointment on the board. He is humbled and honored to serve as a board member. Okay, that was really great that I got to see that. I thought that the hearing, that they handled it quite well, and they sent him packing. It's the guy's making a mockery of the system, in my opinion, and really just showed just no maturity, growth. What was he trying to do? He was trying to convince them that he can't get anything inside there. There's only help for him outside. It's like, wow, really, man? You can't. He's like putting down the teachers. They're too busy. It was just, what a joke. I do wish they would reprimand them a little bit more, but I think they handled it great. It was funny, and they did a good job. Anyways. keep you posted on these hearings. Thank you, Richard, again, and let me know in the comment section if you do like this stuff or not. It takes a lot of work. So with that,